Today I'm reviewing the 1962 Hammer horror version of The Phantom, starring Herbert Lom and Heather Sears. This film did badly at the box office and isn't very highly regarded amongst Phantom fans, because it's unfaithful to the novel, and because there's no romance between the Phantom and Christine. Also, it doesn't feel much like a Hammer horror film. There's no blood, no cleavage, hardly any violence, and no Peter Cushing or Christopher Lee. Rumour has it that Christopher Lee was originally considered as the Phantom, and that would have been amazing. There are conflicting stories about the origin of this version, but according to popular legend, Cary Grant was wanting to break away from his typecast image and to play a villain in a horror film, so the script was rewritten with that in mind, and the Phantom was made into much more of a sympathetic character. This could also explain why they invented the character of the dwarf to do the film's murders. Imagine how weird this film would have been with Cary Grant as the Phantom.
I usually sing a medley of all favourites. Oh, any requests?
Other versions of the legend say that Cary Grant had his eye on the role of Harry Hunter, who is the suave Raoul character, which would make a lot more sense. So, I don't know which story is true. If anyone does, let me know. With all the negative reaction to this film, you might think that I'm going to nitpick this one to death, but I'm actually coming out to defend this film. For some strange reason, it's one of my favourite versions. When I was a kid, there was no eBay or Amazon to get hold of obscure films, and this was the first version I was able to track down, so it holds a special place in my heart. The mood and atmosphere is great, very creepy. The music is first rate, particularly the beautiful aria Christine sings. Herbert Lom seems like an unusual choice for the Phantom. I was only really familiar with his comedy roles like in The Pink Panther or The Lady Killers, but he does a really good job here. The Phantom's voice is mysterious, and this is the only version that features the Phantom sat at his organ playing Bach's Toccata, which is one of the most iconic images in Phantom lore. I also like how they keep the Phantom hidden until quite far into the film, showing only glimpses of his one good eye, which is very effective. There's also a lot of black comedy in it, with some genuinely funny Cockney characters, like these cleaners.
If you've come to see the show, you're a bit late, dearie. Ain't he handsome? Oh, he's lovely. He's got his girlfriend with him. Looking for a nice dark corner to do a bit of courting, was you?
The cabbie.
Hello.
And of course the rat catcher.
I'm the rat catcher. I could let you have them both for tums, sir. They make a lovely pie, you know. We're vegetarians.
The film completely changes the Phantom storyline, once again going with an acid-scarred musician. But this is my favourite variation on that theme. This time, the Phantom is a mild-mannered composer called Professor Petrie, which sounds a bit like something out of a fairy tale. He sells his life's work to evil Lord Ambrose Darcy, played to perfection by Michael Gough. The evil Lord steals the Professor's music and publishes it under his own name.
My name on my music. Is that so surprising?
You can't mean it.
If you'll kindly excuse me.
I think this plot is great. Unlike the Claude Rains version, where Claudin suffers a misunderstanding, here he really has been ripped off. I can't imagine any greater crime that could be committed against a writer or a musician than to have his life's work plagiarised and the credit go to some other slimeball.
Scoundrel. Scoundrel. It's my music. It's my music. It's mine.
So Petrie fights back in the only way he can. He breaks into the printers and sabotages the machinery.
My music.
So what happens next? I'll let this guy explain, although I don't know how he could possibly know all this, seeing as there were no witnesses to the event.
He must have knocked over a lamp or something and put the whole place ablaze. He tried to put it out with what he thought was water, sir. But it was some of this, for etching the plates. He threw a whole jar full at the flames. Some of it splashed back in his face.
Ouch!
Nitric acid, sir. He ran out screaming. No one ever saw any more of him.
Actually, this scarring's pretty stupid. Are you telling me that throwing this little bit of acid on the floor could cause a sufficient splashback to leap 6 foot in the air and burn the whole of his face? Try this at home, kids, and see what happens. On second thought, don't. Anyway, Petrie leaps into a London river. That's right, this one takes place in London, not Paris. And he gets washed into a convenient underground lair where this creepy fellow lives. Who is he?
Who he is, I do not know. And as he cannot speak, I shall never know.
He's listed in the credits just as the dwarf. I thought dwarves looked like this.
Hi-ho, it's home from work we go.
And he's pretty tall for a dwarf. If he only stopped stooping over a bit, he'd be as tall as the Phantom. This character is a pretty stupid decision on the part of the writers, as it takes all the menace away from the Phantom, but perhaps this is just fallout from the rewriting to please Cary Grant idea. Now, the Phantom sets about sabotaging Lord Darcy's attempt to stage his stolen opera, Joan of Arc. He does this by destroying music, frightening the lead singer, killing stagehands, and damaging posters. The Carlotta character is so freaked out by what happened at her last performance, she quits, and auditions are promptly held. The Phantom overhears Christine and has a change of plan. Finally, he's found the woman to do justice to his music. Lord Ambrose Darcy is a real character of a swine. It looks like Michael Gough is having so much fun with this guy who really is the villain of the film. Look how lecherous he is in this scene.
Let's have the first lesson now, right away.
The theatre will be closed.
My apartment will.
No, I couldn't.
I'm an expert teacher.
She is saved by the Raoul character, a producer called Harry Hunter. Another good thing about this film is that the Raoul character is actually quite good. He's not annoying, he comes across as quite a likeable, charming sort of guy, and the blossoming romance between him and Christine seems quite genuine and warm, unlike other versions where it's just nauseating. Christine confides in Harry about this mysterious voice talking to her in a dressing room, so they go back to the opera to check it out.
There are forces of evil at large in the opera tonight. Leave the girl and go while you may.
The dwarf kills the rat catcher by stabbing him right in the eye. Ooh! Ouch! The violence is so unexpected and out of place with the rest of the film, it really is quite shocking. The rats break free and Christine is left alone with rats running at her feet. How scary would that be?
You must come with me.
You thought he was going to abduct her then, but he didn't. This film is like that. It teases your expectations, then surprises you. Just like earlier when we think we're about to see the Phantom for the very first time, and it turns out to be the rat catcher.
It's only the old rat catcher.
Then later, when you least expect it, when Christine comes home from a wonderful day and the mood is filled with romance, she opens her window and... Ah! Now that's how you pace a horror film.